After the success of the first game, Sega knew they had a runaway success on their hands. But how could they top this masterpiece? Well, today, we will talk about what Sega did to better this formula in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. Before we get started, I want to mention that this is a part 2 in a series of videos on the Sonic quadrilogy for the Sega Genesis, and this review is covering the ports of them to the Sega Saturn. If you like the sound of this, then please check out the first video by clicking on the card on the screen now to be taken to the playlist for these videos, and subscribe and click the bell to stay up to date with new videos as well. Without any more delay, let's get into this. After the release of Sonic the Hedgehog, creator Yuji Naka left Sega due to disagreements in corporate policy. At the same time, Sega Technical Institute in California, founded by Mark Cerny, yes, that Mark Cerny, the PlayStation Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny met with Naka in Japan and offered him a higher salary and more creative freedom to join STI. He agreed, and Hirokazu Hasuhara, the lead level designer of Sonic the Hedgehog, also chose to move to STI. Development of Sonic 2 began in November 1991, and STI handled development. Both the American and Japanese staff contributed to the development, although Yuji Naka apparently did not like working with the American developers, but only due to the language barrier and cultural differences. Tim Skelly designed the pseudo 3D special stages based on a tech demo created by Naka. They were created out of pre-rendered 3D polygons and were heavily compressed into video to fit on the game cartridge. Sonic 2 also introduced Sonic's new sidekick, Tails, a flying two-tailed fox inspired by Japanese folklore about the kitsune and created by Yasushi Yamaguchi. His original name, Miles Per Hour, a pun on Miles Per Hour, was not liked by the American team, and Tails was given to him as a nickname. He would eventually be officially named Miles Tails Per Hour in later games, ultimately a compromise between the two teams. So what makes Sonic 2 so great? Well, for one, the speed of the game was increased compared to the first game. The levels were designed with a heavier focus on speed, as well with fewer spots that make you stop and think. There was obviously a shift in focus when making this game. The zones are split into 2 instead of 3 this time around, but they feel longer and there are more zones. Boss fights happen at the end of the second act, and the boss fights are better designed in my opinion. Please don't attack me, Twitter. The themes are plentiful as well. Lots of rings and plenty of loops in the level designs. Multiple layered levels that allow you to choose the high ground or low ground too. The game is just difficult enough too, not being too much of a hassle to get through, but also not being so easy that you will blow through it in one sitting. The music in this game is also a step above what the first game offers as well. Bombastic music that plays while you are enjoying the levels, to the point where the most frustration I feel is the fact that dying stops the music for a second. The variety is appealing. The soundtrack stands up, even to this day, even though it's all chiptune music. It just shows how amazing the sound chip in the Genesis really was, to the point where it's difficult to emulate it in later ports, getting some atrocious results. The wonderful thing about the Saturn port is it's not emulation, so the soundtrack actually sounds good. It holds no candle to the Genesis versions, but it is close enough to what we remember. I will discuss the music differences in the final video in this series, so stay tuned for that. The sense of scale is good here. Once you get far enough in the game, you come to a flight level that basically lets you know you are getting close to the end of it. You land on the ship, and you make your way to the boss of the ship. After destroying the ship, you finally make it to the Death Egg. Here you face off with the infamous Metal Sonic. This fight is not that bad once you learn his pattern. but after you defeat him, you still have one more fight to finish the game. This is the bane of many kids' lives, because on the original release, you had to defeat both of these bosses with no rings. That means one hit kills. In the Saturn port, they give you rings at the start of the fights. This does take away the challenge a bit, but if that bothers you, you can actually select the original mode from the game select screen, and this will be just like the Genesis version. The ending is pretty epic. The game also features a few extras, like a 2-player mode, where you race each other. It's Sonic and Tails racing each other, and it's good for a few minutes of fun. There are 4 zones to choose from, and it does look really weird, but it is always a nice feeling to get something like this in a game back then. So what else is there? Well, there are special stages we mentioned earlier. If you collect all 7 of the emeralds, then Sonic will be able to transform into Saiyan Sonic, Super Sonic. And you will remain at run speed and invulnerable to most things until you run out of rings. To enter this, you need 50 rings and need to press the jump button after jumping. This also shows Super Sonic at the end of the game as well. This was one of the coolest things ever when I was growing up, and I can't say too many games got this right after it. Sonic 3 and Mania are fantastic though. Like, seriously, if you've not played Mania, you need to get it. You're missing out. Overall, this game is a masterpiece and a true statement to good level design. If you want to know why Sonic is loved so much, then this is a good place to start, but we are just getting started. This 9 out of 10 game is only part 2 in a 5-part series. Next week we will talk about the next chapter in the Sonic book, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If you are enjoying these videos, then please hit the like button, subscribe and slap that bell to be informed when my videos go live. If you enjoyed this video, consider joining my Patreon in the links down below. It's Sonic all month long. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, stay nerdy.